Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 19th chapter. It says here, a laboring man, and I think the A here is, maybe like a typo there. Shouldn't be in there, but if you read it without it, it makes more sense. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich. Right, so one that works, you may be working, you may work hard, but if you're given to drunkenness, it's gonna affect your gains. Right, he shall not be rich. It says here, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. Right, if you don't pay attention to small details, the small things, eventually is going to gradually bring ruin upon you. Right, and it tells you, right, the scriptures tell you, I believe it's the 5th chapter of Sirach, not to be ignorant in anything in a small or great matter. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away, and he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent. Okay, moths and worms shall have him to heritage, and a bold man shall be taken away. Let's read that in the GNT or GNTD, verses 2 and 3. Wine and women make sensible men do foolish things. A man who, because if you want more details on that, read the book of First Ezra, I believe it's the 3rd chapter, where they go into it, right? And it explains, how dangerous wine is, right? Why wine is a powerful thing, and also women. And you'll see how they both make or can make sensible men do foolish things. A man who goes to prostitutes gets more and more careless, and that carelessness will cost him his life. Worms will feed on his decaying body. Verse 4, he that is hasty to give credit is light-minded, right? If you are quick to give credit to somebody, you're not, you're light-minded, okay? Meaning like you don't think deep. All right, your level of wisdom is not as high, because one, that is to the contrary, knows what it's like to actually prove somebody. You can give somebody credit too early and then find out, nah, this person really didn't deserve it. And he that sinneth shall offend against his own soul, because when you sin, who is going to suffer the consequences of that? Yeah, you may harm somebody, but the judgment or the actions of the penalty of your sin is going to come upon you. So you're offending your own soul. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned, but he that resisteth pleasures crowneth his life. See, if you resist the pleasures of wickedness, okay, you bring a crown of life onto you, right? But if you give into that, you're condemning yourself, and you got judgment that's awaiting you. He that can rule his tongue, meaning you can control your mouth, shall live without strife. You ain't gonna get into trouble. Right? Because you can control your mouth. You know how to speak. You know what to say, when to say, and when not to say. And he that hateth babbling shall have less evil. See, if you don't talk much, you get into less trouble, and you're good. Rehearse not unto another that which was told unto thee, and thou shalt fare never the worse. Meaning, if you don't go around telling people secrets, right, whatever was told to you, you're going to fare good, right? Never the worse, meaning it's not going to go bad with you. It's Old English for, things are going to go well with you if you're able to keep your lips tight. Verse 8, whether it be to friend or foe, talk not of other men's lives. So you don't speak about others' business, as we would say. And if thou canst without offense, reveal them not. So if you can't speak about somebody without, talking shit or offending, then don't say anything at all. For he heard and observed thee, right? Whoever it is you're speaking to. And when time cometh, he will hate thee. See, so they take note of you, of your character. Oh, wow, okay. So you're that kind of person, okay. And eventually, given the right occasion, it'll all make sense to them. See, it wasn't long before, such and such ended up doing this, or this information came out on this person. I always knew it, based on how they were talking about such and such. See, and then now you're had in a bad light among them. If thou hast heard a word, let it die with thee, a word being the secret, and be bold, it will not burst thee. So hold on to it. Holding on to a secret is not gonna make you explode. It says, a fool travaileth with a word as a woman in labor of a child. Like a woman that's in labor with a child is about to, she can't keep that child in, right? She's going into labor. She has to bring that child out. The baby's coming. That's what it's like when you tell a fool a secret. They can't hold it in. It's like them going into labor with a child. They have to bring it out. Verse 12, as an arrow sticketh in a man's thigh, so is a word within a fool's belly, meaning his mind. So when you tell a fool a secret, it's like when an arrow is in a man's thigh, what is the end goal? To get it out. Likewise, if you tell a fool a secret, their end goal is to spill it. They can't wait. You know, that today they call it the tea. Let me give you the tea. Admonish a friend, it may be he have not done it. And if he have done it, he shall that he do it no more. So when you admonish somebody, let's go to the word admonish. To warn or reprimand somebody firmly, to advise or urge earnestly. So before rebuking them, first admonish them, find out the case, speak to them about it. Maybe they haven't actually done it. Or if they have, they'll repent of it. Admonish thy friend, it may be he have not said it, right? Somebody says, hey, this person said something to you, inquire first and speak to them about it, because maybe they didn't. And if he have, that he speak it not again. See? And then you squash it, right? You keep it on good terms. Admonish a friend. For many times it is a slander, right? You may hear something about your friend, and there's a chance more often than not that it's not true. So admonish them, right? Speak to them about it first. And it says, and believe not every tale. And find out, is that really the case? Because, here it is. You may have a friend of a long time, and you're so quick to trust somebody on the outside's word that you don't even know over a friend that you've had for so long. It says, there is one that slippeth in his speech, but not from his heart. So you may say something, right, accidentally, or something you don't mean, but, inwardly, that's not you. It says here, and who is he that hath not offended with his tongue? See? So it's not like this hasn't befallen you before, right? It's not, none of us are perfect. Admonish thy neighbor before thou threaten him, and not being angry, give place to the law of the Most High. See, so before you go right into the aggressive attacks and threats, first admonish, inquire first. Is this the case? And speak to them about it. And if that can't solve it, then, things might escalate. Okay, but as it says, being not angry, give place to the law of the Most High. See, let the law, handle it according to how the Lord has given us the instructions and blueprints to handle it. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. See, so if you want to be accepted of the Lord, you got to fear him. And when you fear him, it's the beginning of wisdom. And if you have wisdom, then you obtain his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, because the commandments of the Lord lead to life. And if you have knowledge of it, then you have the ways to life, right? It says here, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. And is that not what Yahweh Shai is going to bring to his elect? Because his elect are those that do the things that please him. Okay, it says here, the fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law. So when you have the wisdom, you're going to do the things of the law, the instructions of the Lord, and the knowledge of his omnipotency, right? You're going to understand the power, the all-powerful might of the Lord, which is going to cause you to fear the Lord even more. If a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he do it, he angereth him that nourisheth him. Meaning that, if a servant tells his master tells him to do something, he's like, nah, I ain't going to do it. Even if he does it afterwards, his master's still going to be pissed because of that interaction. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. See, it's not wisdom. They may be wise in wickedness, but that's not true wisdom. Okay, that's perverse. That's left hand philosophies. Okay, but here when the scriptures speak about wisdom in terms of the positive side, that's the true wisdom. Okay, that's counterfeit wisdom what they have. And as it says, the counsel of sinners is not prudence, because ultimately what's going to happen to them within their plans and how, deep they think their plans are. They're not thinking deep enough to realize the Lord is about to judge them for it. So they're not really looking well into their going, are they? It says here, there is a wickedness and the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom. Now here, he's comparing two types of wickedness, right? You have one that is an abomination, meaning it's deliberate, it's done out of ill intent. Okay, and then there's wickedness that's done by a fool that's wanting wisdom. Okay, and that's basically wisdom done from lack of understanding rather than like, pure morale, ill intent or immoral, intent. Verse 24, he that hath small understanding and fear of God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. See, you may not be the most knowledgeable, right? But if you fear the Lord, you're better off because the Lord will bless you with wisdom and you can, increase, and the love of the Lord is going to dwell with you. But if you have all this wisdom and you transgress the laws of the Lord, that's worse for you because now you knew better and you didn't, right? You transgressed having all this wisdom to know not to, and you went and did it. So you really don't have any room or any excuse. There is an exquisite subtlety, and the same is unjust. And there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear, and there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. Now, the exquisite subtlety is basically talking about clever craftiness, right? Like somebody that's like really, really crafty, but they do it in a clever way. Okay, because not all cleverness or, intelligence or what would seem like prudence is wisdom. Okay, there's some intelligence that's used for manipulation. That's the clever craftiness. That's the exquisite subtlety. Okay, and so it says here, and the same is unjust. All right, and there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear. And the turning aside to make judgment appear, that's somebody who distorts justice, but they're doing it like skillfully, and it's making it look like it's fair. It's making it look like it's right, but it's not. Okay, it says here, and there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. So that's an actual, a one that actually by true wisdom brings forth judgment or justice. It says, there is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. So it's all an act, right? He acts like he's all sad and stuff, but he's really just trying to get your pity, so he can, is there any way I can help you? Or, oh no, I don't want to burden you, but I mean, this would be a bit, no, it's all deceit. Verse 27, casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not, where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief or a mischief before thou be aware. So before you even notice, right, as they've been faking and faking and faking, seeking the right opportunity, boom. All right, they're going to seek the first opportunity to do evil to you or to take advantage of you. That's the plotting and the scheming. Because when he casts his countenance down and he looks all sad, you let your guard down. Okay, and when you don't know, right, where he's not known, or when your mind is not on it, he will do the mischief before thou be aware, right, at the first opportunity, catching you off guard. Verse 28, if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, that is, if due to a lack of power he can't sin, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil. At his first chance, he's going to do it. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance. Yeah, the scriptures tell you that wisdom maketh the countenance of a man to shine, the face of a man to shine. You can tell somebody that's, not so wise versus somebody that is wise by how they look, how they move when thou meetest him. Verse 30, a man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is. Okay, so it basically shows you what type of person it is. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 19th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.